No, I've been talking about that for over 10 years.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, and welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board. Tonight is a voting meeting, and we do have a public hearing scheduled for tonight. At the moment, there are some technical difficulties with the presentation for that, so we are going to open up the meeting, and if, I forgot who was up for pledge.
Susie.
You think it's Lugo?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
If everyone please rise, face the flag. Mike Lugo will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to take a moment of silence for all those who serve overseas.
Thank you. So I call this meeting to order, and if our town clerk, Alice, would please do a roll call attendance.
Councilman Lugo?
Here.
Councilman Kearns?
Here.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Here.
Councilman Lombardi?
Here.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Here. Before Councilman Lugo reads the first resolution, if Chief Hoffman would come up and tell us about our gentle giant.
Future center on our basketball team.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. Thanks for having us here this evening. As you mentioned, Mr. Supervisor, we have for your consideration an appointment to the position of police officer with the Carmel Police Department. Christopher Pelcher, Jr. is a resident of Ossining. He holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of New Hampshire, and he formerly played professional basketball in Europe, as if you couldn't figure that one out. Currently, Chris is employed as a New York City police officer. He serves with the Housing Bureau in PSA 8 in the Bronx. And over a 5.5-year career, he's been named Cop of the Month 5 times and has been awarded Meritorious Police Duty Awards, over 20 of these Meritorious Police Duty Awards. So he's had quite a short career in the NYPD. As a prior service officer, Chris would qualify to bypass the academy and would be eligible for patrol right after his field training assignment. So with your permission, I would strongly recommend and would like to appoint Mr. Christopher Pelcher, Jr. to the position of police officer with the Carmel Police Department.
Thank you, Chief. Councilman Lugo, would you read the first resolution?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby appoints Christopher Pelcher of Ossining, New York, as a police officer for the Town of Carmel, effective April 3, 2025, at the transfer rate of $70,814 per year, on a probationary basis subject to the provisions of civil service law and the Putnam County Civil Service Rules and Regulations. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough and Lombardi. And we have a roll call, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
My pleasure.
Councilwoman McDonough?
With pleasure.
Councilman Lombardi?
With pleasure.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Congratulations, Chris.
Congratulations.
It's not right.
That's a great picture.
So is this good? No, you're good. So raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Right?
So actually on the other side.
What's your name? Leon. So, repeat after me. I, Christopher Pelcher,
I, Christopher Pelcher,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of
the
the United States
the Constitution of the United States
of America
of America
and the Constitution of New York State,
and the Constitution of New York State,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the appointed position
the duties of the appointed position
of police officer
of police officer
in and for the town of Carmel,
in and for the town of Carmel,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I'm like a munchkin land over here. Oh, you can't say that, right? You say munchkin?
It's like a cell phone tower. Smile, Mike. Come on.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congrats, guys. Of course.
Do you want me to do a couple more resolutions?
Looks like it. I would assume. Yeah.
All right, a couple more. Okay.
Mike, you look like Lenny and George.
Huh?
Lenny and George.
Yeah, we will. All right, so while we work on our computer issue, we're going to go to resolution number 2. It's authorizing the release of a bond for a resident. Would you read that, Councilman Lombardi?
Sure. Whereas application has been made by Downtown Mahopac Properties, Inc. for the total release of a site plan bond posted in accordance with land subdivision and/or zoning regulations for tax map number 75.12-2-26 with respect to a site plan approval issued for the aforesaid property, and whereas said application has been reviewed by town engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., and release of the bond has been recommended and approved by town engineer and the Town of Carmel Planning Board. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the release of the bond posted in the amount of $104,000. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Could we have a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Our third resolution is authorizing advertisement for bids. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to advertise for bids for replacement of light fixtures in downtown Carmel. And be it further resolved that upon finalization and completion of bid specifications, the Town Engineer is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to Town Clerk Alice Daly, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Number 4 is authorizing the mailing of Lake Cassie Park District's newsletter. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that for us?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District, hereby authorizes the mailing of the Spring 2025 newsletter as prepared by the Lake Cassie Park District Committee to all properties within the district, and further directs that the cost thereof be charged as a district expense. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous again. Number 5 is authorizing the mailing for Lake Secor Park District newsletter. Councilman Kearns, could you read that for us?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of the Lake Secor Park District,
hereby authorizes the mail-in of the summer 2025 newsletter as prepared by the Lake Secord Park District Committee to all properties within the district and further directs that the cost thereof be charged as a direct expense. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lugo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Number 6 is setting the rates for the 2025 seasonal employees for Lake Secord Park District. Councilman Lugo, could you read that one?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of the Lake Secord Park District, hereby sets the following employment rates for lifeguards in 2025, as pre-filed. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is setting the rates for 2025 seasonal employees at Lake Cassie Park District. Councilman Lombardi, could you read
Resolve the
that?
Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District, hereby sets the following employment rates for lifeguards in 2025. Lifeguard, $14 to $21, and gate guards, $13 to $21. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lugo. Could we have a roll call again?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is a resolution making the provisional appointment of real property appraiser for the Office of Town Assessor. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby appoints Daniel Willie in the position and title of real property appraiser in the Town of Carmel Assessor's Office on a provisional basis effective April 7, 2025, subject to the provisions of civil service law and civil service rules and regulations at a CSEA Group 9, Step 1 salary level. I offer this as read.
Second.
Second by McDonough and Kearns. And we have a roll call, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is a resolution pursuant to UCJA 2019-A. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read this?
Yes. Whereas the records and docket in the Town of Carmel Court for calendar year 2024 were duly presented to the Town Board of the Town of Carmel for review. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, pursuant to Section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Court Act, hereby acknowledges that the reference records and docket of the Town of Carmel Court have been duly examined and that the fines therein have been duly collected and turned over to the proper officials of the Town of Carmel as required by law. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Number 10 is a resolution accepting proposal for replacement of programmable logic controller, Carmel Sewer District Number 4. Councilman Kearns, could you read that?
Yep. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of the Carmel Sewer District Number 4, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposals of Water Solution Supply, LLC, Wayne, New Jersey, for the installation and replacement of a programmable logic controller for the sand filter units at Carmel Sewer District Number 4 wastewater treatment plant at a cost not to exceed $31,281.40. And in accordance with the proposal dated February 5, 2025, and be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form acceptable to Town Attorney, Town Supervisor Michael Cazzari is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to effectuate this authorization upon the terms set forth herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by McDonough. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 11 is a resolution making an appointment to the Town of Carmel Board of Assessment Review. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby appoints Michael Pop to the Town of Carmel Board of Assessment Review for a term commencing immediately and expiring September 30th, 2030. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi and Kearns. Can we have a roll call on that?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Thank you, Mike, for volunteering for that. Number 12 is accepting a proposal for insurance. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby accepts the proposal of Brown & Brown, Mahopac, New York, to provide liability insurance to the Town of Carmel for the period of April 1, 2025 through March 31, 2026. Said proposal to be in form as in file in the office of the Town Supervisor, and be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor is hereby authorized to sign any and all necessary documentation required to accept said proposal. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Kearns and Lugo. Can we have a roll call again, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is authorizing a vehicle purchase for the Highway Department. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation and request of Town Highway Superintendent Michael Stern, hereby authorizes the purchase of a 2025 Freightliner hook lift truck from National Auto Fleet Group, Wattsville, California, under Sourcewell Contract 0328424 NAF and pursuant to New York General Municipal Law 103 sub 16, and be it further resolved that said purchase hereby authorized at a cost not to exceed $289,311 in accordance with the specifications and pricing provided on the quotation dated March 24, 2025, which is attached hereto and made a part hereof. Be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Michael Cazzari and/or Superintendent of Highways Michael Stern are hereby authorized to execute any necessary documentation required to effectuate this authorization. I offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Can we have a roll call on that?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Number 14 is authorizing Town Supervisor to sign a stipulation with the Civil Service Employees Association Local 840. Councilman McDonough, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement with Civil Service Employees Association Local 840, AFS-CME, AFL-CIO, in form and content as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 15 is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a stipulation with Civil Service Employees Association Local 840. Councilman Kearns, can you read that one?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement with Civil Service Employees Association Local 840, AFS-CME, AFL-CIO, in form and content as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lugo, and a roll call, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 16 is authorizing entry into a license agreement with the Mahopac Central School District. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 8, hereby authorizes the entry into a license agreement, Mahopac Central School District, for use of the Lakeview Elementary School parking lot while repairs within Carmel Water District Number 8 are ongoing. Said license agreement to be in form and content as attached hereto and made a part hereof. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Michael S. Cazzari, is hereby authorized to enter into and execute on behalf of the town said license agreement and to transmit such executed agreement to the Mahopac Central School District thereafter for countersignature. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 17 is authorizing the purchase and installation of technology upgrades for Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the purchase and installation of switch setup from Intelligent IT Designs in accordance with the attached proposal in the amount of $7,880.46. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Kearns and Lugo, second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Yes.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. The last resolution for the voting meeting is authorizing entry into a regional radio system access agreement with the MTA. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the entry into Metropolitan Regional Radio Systems agreement with the Metropolitan Transportation. Said agreement to be as in the form as is currently on file with the Office of Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, and be it further resolved that Chief of Police is hereby authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the Town of Carmel and the Town of Carmel Police Department. I offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Councilman Kearns, you want to read that while we're waiting for,
Absolutely. I prepared a statement here that I'd like to read, on behalf of myself, and I'm sure most of my board members here would agree with me. Last night, the county legislator voted to reduce sales tax. So I put together this statement that I would like to read. I must express my deep frustration and disappointment following the April 1st vote by the Putnam County legislator to reduce the sales tax by 3.75. This decision is short-sighted and will ultimately harm the residents of Carmel and Putnam County. The proposal, originally introduced by Representative Greg Elner and motioned onto the floor by Representative Dan Birmingham, who both represent the town of Carmel, fails to address the real needs of our community. Instead of cutting sales tax, thereby depleting essential county resources, the legislator should have focused on a fair sharing model that ensures local municipalities receive their fair share of funding. Carmel, like other towns, makes significant investments in infrastructure that support local businesses and drive economic growth, which in turn benefits the county as a whole. By slashing sales tax revenue, the legislator has made it harder for local governments to sustain these critical investments, including projects like reducing the financial burden of Carmel Water District Number 2. As a councilman and the rest of this board, we know firsthand how essential it is for local governments to have the resources needed to support their residents. This tax cut not only deprives Carmel of the possibility of receiving crucial funds, but also weakens the county's ability to distribute financial support to towns in ways that would have a direct positive impact on taxpayers. If Carmel had access to a portion of the sales tax revenue, we could have used it for the direct property tax relief or invested in infrastructure and services that would provide real tangible benefits to our community, especially as we recently implemented new zoning laws that promote responsible development and long-term economic growth. Making matters worse, the legislators also chose to return $5.3 million in surplus funds to the state instead of reinvesting it in the very communities that generated it. County legislators decided that sending these funds back to Albany was more important than using them for local relief efforts. This was a colossal missed opportunity. That money should have been used right here in Putnam County, not handed back to the state. For 5 members of the legislators to claim they are acting in the best interest of the residents, this decision demonstrates a clear disconnect from the people they were elected to serve. What's even more frustrating is the timing of this decision. At a moment when many residents are struggling with rising costs, the legislator had an opportunity to provide meaningful tax relief, such as a direct property tax reductions or strategic reinvestments into local services. Instead, they opted for a politically convenient sales tax that offers little benefit to the residents who actually live here and bear the burden of funding local governments. By voting to decrease the sales tax, the legislator has further restricted the county's financial flexibility. If lawmakers had prioritized revenue sharing with local governments like Carmel, we could have directed those funds towards meaningful community improvements. Instead, this tax cut would primarily benefit out-of-county visitors while doing little to ease the financial pressures faced by our local taxpayers. I urge the legislators to rethink this approach. Cutting the sales tax is not the answer. Sharing revenue with local governments is. The $5.3 million in surplus funds should have been reinvested in the communities that generated it, not sent back to the state. We need real sustainable solutions that put the needs of Carmel and Putnam County residents first, not politically motivated decisions that make life harder for our taxpayers. The people of Carmel deserve better. It's time for the legislators to stop playing politics and stop prioritizing the residents they were elected to serve. The decisions made today will impact our community for years to come, and I sincerely hope that responsibility is taken seriously. That's it.
Thank you.
I'm glad you read that Rob, because it's something that I actually have been talking about for my whole tenure on the town board, and I think you probably both have heard me say that before. We here in the town of Carmel generate that sales tax revenue because we fund our police, we fund our roads and our improvements, which actually cause people to come and shop here in the town of Carmel. What I've always asked them to do, and in conjunction with your letter, is we should share in the sales tax revenue as a town, in proportionate to what we generate here in the town. So, for example, come February, Highway Superintendent always asks us for increased funding for road pavements, which he's actually starting right now. We can divert some of that money, and they should be using some of that sales tax revenue that they send back to the town and just say, this is to be used for infrastructure, this is to be used for roads, this is to be used for police upgrades or things like that. I mean, and it's something that we've talked about for a significant period of time. And when we have to, luckily the last couple of years we've not had to borrow for those kind of things. But when we do have to borrow, we can use $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in sales tax revenue that is generated by the town of Carmel to the county, and just say, hey, guys, you must use this for infrastructure, because the infrastructure then leads to the increase of the sales tax revenue to the county. So I wholeheartedly concur with that. It's something that I've talked about for many, many years. For many, yeah, and well, even before, yeah, we've been talking about it, Susie, we've been talking about it for a very long time. So I'm going to ask for, before Alice leaves, a resolution by the town board of the town of Carmel requesting that the county reconsider its decision and start to allocate on a proportionate basis sales tax revenue to the towns, and specifically to the town of Carmel, which generates a significant, probably plurality of sales tax revenue to the town of Carmel. Excuse me, to the Putnam County.
Absolutely. And the fact that they had the $5.3 million and they decided to give it back to the state is just a slap in the face to the local communities. It's really disheartening to hear, because
And these people are elected to serve the towns that they're elected to serve, and they chose to give that money back to the state. So what Frank had just said, which it could have been easily used to improve infrastructure, and some of these other local towns, like you said, we're very lucky and fortunate to be able to have gotten the jobs done, but other towns aren't that lucky as us. So I think this is going to be a team effort across all the local municipalities, and I think that we're going to hopefully lead the charge, and they could come around and start working with us.
So is that your resolution?
That's
that we
my,
do
I
a-
offer that resolution as
Can I?
In a
dictated.
proportionate,
In proportionate.
Can we do it now? You want to vote on it now?
Yes.
Can we second it?
Second it.
I'll second it.
That's why we did
Yeah.
it before Alice left.
Yeah.
Second it.
Want to vote?
Whenever you're ready, I'm,
Councilman Lugo?
100%.
Councilman Kearns?
Absolutely.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes, without a doubt.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
yes. Thank you, Alice.
All right, so that supervisor will generate that letter tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't hear you say I had to write a letter.
Well,
Somebody
let's
ha-
amend-
somebody
let's
has to,
amend- Let's
Mike.
amend that resolution to, that the supervisor tomorrow will write the letter.
Kevin,
It'll be generated tomorrow.
Kevin, write letters.
I will dictate the letter for you to send.
It's funny how that always happens, isn't it? So we have a public hearing. It's upon a certain supplemental map plan and report, including a revised estimate of cost in relation to the proposed increase and improvement of the facilities of the Carmel Water District Number 2. Any objection to waiving the public notice being read?
No.
No.
Okay, so we'll waive that. Can I get someone to make a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
So before we have public comment, we have a presentation from Carl Stone, Weston and Sampson, right? Yep. Thank you for coming, Carl.
Thank you. Yeah, Carl Stone with Weston and Sampson Engineers. I'm going to keep this brief, just a few slides here, but just wanted to point out a few things on this tank in terms of its condition and age, okay? We don't have detailed records of design or construction, but we did do some searching on some historic aerial photography, and that tank is shown, or a tank is being shown in that location as far back as 1941. It's not clear if there was a rebuild at any time. As I said, we don't have any documentation on the original or any other improvements to this tank, but it does appear that it's been there some time. So age, tanks last 30, 50, sometimes as much as 80 years, but this one's knocking on the door, if this is when it was built. That's the current aerial of it. And now some condition information. So several condition assessments had been done by folks that specialize in that kind of work, and they provided some photographs and information that's going to follow. Not all of it, but part of it. So Cortec did this in 2021. This is, the lower left is inside the tank. That little arm you see is out there for scale from a subsurface rover machine they can put in there and take these, fly around in there and take those photos. The reason this is here, if you look at the lower left, you'll see a pattern of patches inside the tank as well as corrosion. You'll also see on the lower right that same pattern from the outside of the tank, and you'll see additional pitting and corrosion there. And when we look at the upper right photo, we can see that there is some deformation in the tank there. Now, that, from my folks that specialize in this work, indicate that that looks similar to what we would find if there had been a freeze situation in the tank and the water dropped, and then that shelf of ice brought down, was frozen to the sidewall of the tank, and then as that water drops, that force bent this tank in. That's consistent with that. I can't be certain that that's the cause, because we weren't there when it happened, but that's the condition on the outside of the tank.
Does that play anything into the structural
Integrity?
integrity of the tank?
It can. It's really difficult to say, this tank is.
It looks like it's folded into itself.
Yeah, a little bit, right? This tank is really unique. I reached out through my entire firm and the water group to see who had ever encountered a water storage tank with a convex design roof. Nobody has ever worked on one or seen one. Doesn't mean they're not out there, obviously. Before we get to that, though, the following, so the left side photos also are interior to the tank, and you'll notice, as you did, I think, on the prior one, right? You see all the pitting on the wall here, and we're quite close to this. That patch is about 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. So that's extensive pitting on the inside of the tank, which is indicative of prior corrosion. And it is, as you can see, it's really quite extensive. I'm sorry, and then on the right, of course, is the foundation slab that's there. That's one particular spot that's showing, obviously, deterioration. And these are photos. Upper left is the roof structure I spoke about, the concave roof. At the time this picture was taken, the roof was virtually submerged, full in that because the drain was not working. And has a lot of debris and all sorts of other things you don't want in your water. It's not inside the tank, but it does drain through the center of that tank. And if there was a failure or a leak in that drain pipe, then you can get intermixing with this foul water. There's also the photo on the lower left is the drain that you can't see in the top photo simply because we're not close enough to it and because of the glare. That's the drain. And you can see that the grate on that is not a very fine grate, so it doesn't keep, leaves and other debris out, so we suspect that, and, potential critters as well, I suppose. But, so it's clogged. They were unable to locate, and there's no records of where this drain leaves and comes to daylight, as it should. So they couldn't find it. I believe, Rich, right, it was attempted to be cleaned at one point some years ago, but unsuccessfully, obviously. So this water builds up on the tank, that little hat that you see, can I point you out? That is a vent on top of the tank, and its water level's getting fairly close to that. I would hope, and we don't know, but I would hope that that edge is designed to be above the edge of the side of the tank so that it would run off the side of the tank if it ever filled that far. It's not supposed to get to this point. On the right here, we see one of the penetrations here for cathodic protection. They identified a whole hole right through here at the time of this inspection, 21, and then this was also penetration around this conduit down into the tank. They then patched it, of course, temporarily. But, so I think, you know, that's really all I have. We can go back through them if you want, but I think it's fairly clear that this tank has, if it's in fact been there that long, if you've gotten your money's worth out of it, and, you know, how much longer will it last even with repair is difficult to say, but, yeah, so.
Now, you said the concave, it's a unique design. Have we explored replacing the
Yes.
main that goes through and building a roof above?
Yeah. Well, the recommendation is not to replace the drain down the middle. That's not prudent, no. In fact, the inspectors here, and there was a prior inspection, both recommended a conventional exterior drain running down to grade to a splash pad. So that's part of the improvements that would have been done had this been renovated. And when we learned that it was a concave roof, which was so unusual, it was opted to go and replace the entire roof, get rid of the drain through it, and put a new domed roof on it. So that was added to the cost estimates, and that's one of the reasons the cost estimates went up fairly significantly for the repair of this.
So the price that we're seeing now, what does that include?
Complete rehab of this, new cover, new vent.
Whole new tank.
Well, I'm sorry, the proposed,
What we put out a bid for is a completely new tank.
Yeah.
Demolishing this tank.
new
and
tank.
putting
I'm
a new
sorry,
tank.
right.
It would be an Aquasur tank, glass line tank, not steel, like what you have now.
And is it double the capacity?
Not double, it's going from 300,000, which this provides 300,000, to about 500,000.
Does the
Which is-
lifespan, is that expected to last longer than a steel tank?
Generally speaking, yeah, it's much
How
more
much more?
corrosion resistant. There's, this, yeah, I mean.
I'm just saying, what's the general lifespan on them?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because the technology only came out in, late 40s, so, there's a lot of them still in service, so we don't really have a firm idea, but typical suggestions are 30 to 50 years, but. they've
That's not a
lasted-
rehab, though.
No,
Not on the tank.
they've lasted much longer.
Okay.
So,
So if we wanted to rehab, is there a significant difference in price?
the rehab of the tank is cheaper. The long-term life cycle cost out to 50 years is greater for the rehab tank because you got to do it every 15 or so years.
Well, and now there's obviously structural integrity issues as well, so is it worth investing to rehab this tank if we don't know what the structural integrity of it is?
We don't believe so. As I said, the life cycle costs are cheaper to put a new one in and get the added volume, which you wouldn't get if you just rehab, right? For that long time frame, we know that there's storage and capacity issues in the system, right? So, hedging your bet, you have a location, it's the right location, and there's enough space there to put the larger tank in. It seems to make sense for the long term.
And I know I'm sorry, you probably already answered this question, I just can't remember. With the new tank, it's gonna be the dome.
Oh, yeah, no, yes.
They
It's
don't
gonna-
make tanks
Yeah, I didn't.
with this anymore, and/or drains going down the middle of
Curious,
it.
do we have any other tanks in any of the water districts that have this similar?
Not that we're aware of, no.
No,
we've
no,
done-
not with a concave
We've
and
done
and
all
a
of
drain
it.
in the
We're
middle. No,
doing-
this is the only one.
Yeah. So, I was floored when I saw it, to be perfectly honest.
So we've had other steel tanks, so the Everett Road tank, which is still in service, is going to be put back into service during the rehab of the system here. That's a steel tank. That has been replaced with a new glass line tank. So we have two tanks up at Everett Road right now. And so when this project is done, that Everett Road tank, which is an eyesore, will be taken away ultimately.
So I guess my question is, why are we going out for more funding? Is it because did the scope of the work change? I know you said that was it originally a rehab?
Well,
and now we're replacing?
going to a larger tank wasn't originally envisioned, right? So that was a request with the town in consultation with us, and it made sense to go larger.
Do we need to go larger?
So the reason why is that we put our estimates together about 2 years ago, and it's now 2025. We put it
So
out to bid, and this is what the price came in at. So that's the real reason why is prices don't go down, prices went up.
Yeah.
And so the design that was approved, the design that was moved forward to the county and went through the whole process that these guys were paid for to do is for a 500,000 gallon tank, 500,000 gallon tank.
Dome-roof conventional glass line tank.
Would it be cheaper though to remain at the 300,000 gallon?
It would be marginally cheaper.
Do we marginally, so it's
Right.
not worth
Yeah,
it?
the economies of scale are such that for a relatively short money, it's easy to say, but in comparison to going with just a 300,000 to a 500,000, it's not a proportional increase in
Yeah,
price.
it's not
It's-
big deal. You're not gonna see a huge savings.
Right, well, you're gonna spend less per gallon for the additional 200,000 than for the original 300.
Correct, okay.
That's
for
what we
me.
got right now.
So, Mr. Cole?
Yeah, Charlie Cole in Carmel. Rich, I got some questions for you. Is that tank in use at this time?
Yes, that tank is in use at this present time.
And according to the records, has any work been done on that tank through the years? Because I remember when that tank was there when I was a kid, and I'm 86 years old.
I don't have any records that maintenance was done, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been. We've inspected it in 2014, 2019, and 2021, and in 2019 is when we started this process to get the tanks rehabbed throughout all of the water districts to bring them up to current code, which is where we're at right now.
So this hasn't been put out for bid yet, right?
It's already been put out to bid. It's already been designed. This is a matter of getting additional funding to start the process of the work in Carmel Water District 2.
What kind of impact are we going to have on the community?
What do you mean by impact?
You'll
You'll have a new tank that's going to last.
Water shortage,
No, so during I'm sorry, Mr. Cole, I cut you off, but during the process, we've done this in Water District 3 where we only have one tank. What'll happen is we'll work on the ShopRite tank first, which is going to shut that down. We'll have a hydro-pneumatic tank in that area. It looks like a big tanker truck, and basically what it does is it maintains the pressure throughout the system. We'll work on that tank first, and we'll have that in service. In the process, we'll have the old Everett Road tank put back into service. So we'll have two tanks at Everett Road. We'll have the ShopRite tank, and we'll take this tank out of service, have hydro-pneumatic tanks there, and we'll be able to maintain pressure and maintain volume and make sure we have the additional volume by keeping the other Everett Road tank in place, while keeping it running while we're doing this work. When all that is done, we're going to take the old Everett Road tank out of service and demolish it and get rid of that eyesore.
has anything been done to get some kind of a grant to help?
There was grant money given for this. I forget the amount, but there was grant money that was used for tank work. That's been used throughout the different, at least the first phase, which is where we had the Everett Road tank. I think we had $50,000 or $100,000 put toward it, but I'd have to go back and double check. What's that?
That was the ARPA money that was
And there was
used.
ARPA money that was also used. That's being used for going forward, right? Oh, no. Yes. So 198 in ARPA and 50,000 in grants have been put toward the tank projects.
Okay, thank
And we
you.
will continue to search and have our grant writers do, try to get money for us.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Butler?
John Butler from Carmel Water District Number 2. My first few questions really are trying to square up the numbers here. So I see that the contract, there was a contract awarded to AROLD, or however you pronounce it, for $2,783,000. What I'm trying to square up in my mind is the $4,162,000 number is the subject of this public hearing. I don't understand where the 4 million is going.
There's no 4 million. All in this particular public hearing is for an additional $400,000. The 4 million that was there, John, was for your lining project, the emergency line work over on Glen Ida Ridge,
Okay.
and for the original Everett Road tank. So it was for all the improvements within Water District 2.
Okay.
So the 2.7 for Arald has not been awarded yet because we don't have the funding for it. It will be awarded once we get the funding for it.
Understood. So
Right.
that 2,000,007, that eventual contract is applicable to the replacement of the Lindy tank, is that correct?
And the other pieces of the puzzle I talked about, which is
Okay.
rehabbing the ShopRite tank, putting the Everett Road tank back into service,
Mm-hmm.
and then ultimately taking it out of service and demolishing it and getting rid of the eyesore, which would
Gotcha.
make you happy because you won't have to see it anymore.
Yeah, I know, you say that every time we see each other. It's getting a little boring, to be
That's
honest
because we
with
love
you. I just find it interesting that it's still going to be in service, and I understand why. Has that tank been, worked upon? Because it was so bad, that's why we had to replace it. I mean, does it still have the pile of silt on the bottom and
It
stuff?
will be cleaned out, chlorinated, and then put back into service so that it's there as a backup water supply while we're doing this work.
Okay. I did look at the town board meeting from February 19th, and I know there was a memo from Weston and Sampson that was supposed to be distributed, and I was looking for it on the website. I wonder, and that, to best of my understanding, that was kind of a overall explanation and analysis as to why the Lindy Drive tank can't be rehabilitated and has to be replaced. So is that report available?
I should have been provided as a backup for this. I believe it is in
Well, wait a minute, is this
the
the
map
same
plan
thing
and
that-
report.
You said the same thing February 19th.
It's
I'm
in the
just-
map plan and report, John. Did you pick up a copy of it? Because I don't believe anybody
No,
did. But it's-
we have a website.
it's in the map plan and
Could
report.
you put it on our website so we don't have to come pick things up? I mean,
It's up
it
to the
is
board if they want.
2025.
I'm not in charge of that.
I mean, I don't see why we.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, I don't understand why we
Kev,
can't,
You can put that
yeah.
on the
I
website?
mean, really.
It'll be
I
there
mean,
tomorrow.
seriously, come
It'll
and
be there
pick it up.
tomorrow.
Finally, just for, I think, clarifying or just confirming, so all of these costs are to be borne by the ratepayers, the residents of Carmel Water District Number 2, correct? It's not to be paid for by any other part of the town budget, is that correct? I just found it interesting, we were talking about the county, that, if we got money from the county, all the stuff you guys talked about, that somehow that could support some of the costs in Carmel Water District Number 2. I don't know whether I heard that
could.
incorrectly.
That's
or not.
definitely
You heard it
could.
correctly, yeah.
Okay,
Because
well,
we could actually, if we ever did get some of that sales tax revenue, we could attribute it proportionally around town to the different water districts, sewer districts.
so the town of Carmel could in fact provide funds to Carmel Water District Number 2?
If we decided
we
to
had
do
them.
that, well, listen, this is
Well,
a
the
lot
town of Carmel
this is
already
a lot of
did,
hypothetical,
but we
correct?
gave
No,
ARPA
that's why
money-
I'm asking the
but we gave
question.
Yeah.
ARPA money to,
Yes.
We
So, in my thought process, if we were to ever get sales tax revenue, and we would attribute it to infrastructure, right, because we have all these water districts and sewer districts,
Mm-hmm.
we could hypothetically divide them proportionally, because we do have, we have funding in all those water districts and sewer districts.
So just again, for clarification, so let's just say magically the town was given a gift of $2 million, okay? You're saying that the town and the town board and the town would be able, subject to their discretion to do so, would be able to take money from, I guess, the general fund, where that $2 million would be, and distribute some of it for infrastructure improvements in the water district.
It
Is
would,
that
it would,
correct?
it would
In
be,
proportion.
it would be very similar to what when we allocated ARPA funds to the tank project. It'd be a similar concept.
All right, so are there any funds available for this project that we don't know about? Then maybe a
Go to the
Christmas
coun- go-
gift of some
Go
sort.
to the county meeting and ask them to support what we talked
Mr.,
about today.
you could write an email to your county legislator, Mr. Eleanor, and ask him.
Okay. I just thought, I was talking about the technical aspects of moving money from the town to a water district, which I didn't think
Well, we
was
had done
done.
that with the ARPA money already, so
Okay.
we divided.
How
that
much did
up.
CWD2 get of that ARPA money?
For Carmel Water District 2, we gave,
198, I
Well,
think.
it was 198,
Yeah.
but that was split over all the water districts.
So
But Water District 2 had the highest amount of the tank project. So that 198 was for the tank project, but I'd say Water District 2, I mean, I have the numbers here, but
It's okay. And
the
final
largest
number-
portion of that.
Sorry. The
That's
final
okay.
number question is, the big question, is how much is this going to raise
Tell him, Michael.
the water costs for individual households in CWD2? The big question of the
Mike, tell
evening.
him.
So in the
Well, when he
map,
sits down, I'll
in the map
say.
plan and report, if we were to bond this out for 20 years, just the additional 400,000 would cost about $29 a year.
But I mean, the entire.
But the
that-
overall, so the overall 4.1 million in this, the water
Yes.
tank project would be approximately $160 per year based on your assessed value.
Right.
Okay, so your assessed value, that $160 is based on an assessed value of $497,000, which is right now the average for Water District Number 2.
Right.
So obviously, if your assessed value is higher, the cost per year.
Okay.
And again, this is if we were to bond it out for 20 years.
For
do you have,
20.
do you have a 30-year number, Mary Ann?
I don't have a 30-year number, but
Well, I mean-
it would be less per year for 30 years,
But
but
you
you're
wind
going to
up
pay
paying
more
more.
No,
over the
of
long.
course, I understand.
Yeah,
So
over the
once,
long run.
so we know that, did you say 196 or 169?
160
160.
160.
160.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So when the day comes, God help us, that the treatment plant gets bonded, that's going to be on top of that
Correct,
160,
yes, yes.
which is on
yes.
top of what we're already
This is just for the
paying.
tanks.
No, I get it.
Yep.
I'm just saying, in the
Yes.
aggregate,
Yes.
it never seems to.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, if you look at the map plan and report, I have the existing debt in there as well.
Right.
And then including the, the additional 400,000 that we needed to get this, to award this bond.
I understand.
So I think, the total
Right.
estimated debt is in there as well.
So if we could get that report on the website so the people that are paying it can actually see it, it'd be nice.
Kevin will get up there tomorrow.
Bart? So just so the people in Water 2 understand, we also purchased that piece of property to put the new plant on with ARPA funds. That was $460,000 or $470,000 that you didn't have to pay out of your bill. And the concept of the sales tax, really that sewer and water, that's why those businesses are thriving. That's why some towns that don't have any business, they don't have any sales tax because there's no business, there's no infrastructure. So really, that's the concept. I think it's one of your neighbors up on Kelly Ridge that came here and said that, and that's where that came into my head, was we should be getting money from the county, from the sales tax, because they wouldn't be receiving that revenue if not for the town of Carmel having sewer and water. The towns that don't have sewer and water have less business. So just to...
Do you also want to
that-
touch on the money that was allocated to purchase the property as well?
I started with that, yeah. that we
Oh, I
did
didn't hear. I'm sorry, I didn't hear
460,
you. All right,
yes.
perfect.
But thank you. Sir?
Bart Caterino, Seminary Hill Road. I want to say thank you for bringing the inspection pictures. Definitely clarified that question for me. I'll be interested to read the report as well, but based on the pictures, I think it makes sense. And
Good.
I think John and Councilman Kearns addressed all my other questions, but one came up. I currently look at the Everett Road tanks from my house. So how will there be enough head to get water pressure to my house and the houses above me without a tank on Lindy during the reconstruction?
Well, that's a function of the pneumatic tanks that are there. They
Okay.
will maintain the same level of pressure. They'll be set to operate like Lindy Road would be in existence. So it maintains the pressure and it will
Okay.
keep the water. So that's what that whole system is. If you
Got
want
it.
to come by the office or send me an email, I can send you a picture of what those tanks look like. But we successfully
No.
did it in water 8,
Uh-huh.
and we successfully did it in water 3, and water 14, when we put the new tanks in water 14, we didn't have to. We kept the other tanks in service while we had 14, so we didn't need pneumatic tanks. We were able to operate separately. But Water District 3 was by itself. It's its own tank. We had 2 pneumatic tanks set up over there. So it's a single tank groundwater supply that we were able to use these pneumatic tanks set up to do that work.
Okay, yep, I have it in my head now.
Right.
Appreciate
Good.
it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll keep this open until, for written and for emails and for
7 days.
written?
Whatever you like, and then when it's closed, you can consider a vote on the bond issues. Bond council will get.
Keep it open to next week.
So do it till next week or the week after?
You can keep it open for
7
the next 2 weeks.
Until the next voting meeting?
You won't vote till the 16th.
Rich, what were you
So
thinking?
for
I think.
What was
I
Rich
think
thinking?
Keeping it open for a week would be wiser, only because we really do need to get the contracts in order. We do have tariffs that are going out these days,
course.
and it may impact the pricing, and we'll have to come back for more money.
All right, so if
The
anybody
sooner
wants
we can
to-
act, the better.
Give something in writing, you can send it to the town via email or,
Have a motion to keep it open for written comment.
Right,
until
written
whatever
comment.
date is. If that's like close of business on the 9th.
It's the 9th, yeah, the 9th.
Oh, the 9th.
all right, so that would be the 9th.
So somebody should make that motion.
So I make a motion to keep the public hearing open for written comment only until April 9th, 2020.
Wednesday,
Second.
April 9th.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous.
Before, are you done, Rich? Do you want to just, since we have members here from Water District 2, do you want to just give them a quick recap of the proposals we received back on the, on the desktop audit? Okay.
So, we do announcements?
Sorry, I was given a report.
There seems to be several people here from Carmel District 2. I just wanted you to give an update on the bids we received was it last Friday?
Oh, the
Regarding-
five.
So the proposals came in, we received it from 5 different companies. The prices ranged from $50,000 to $168,000. They're under review yet, so there's no recommendation to the board, but I'm going to be meeting with Councilman Kearns tomorrow, and I'll be sending something out to the board so they can at least have a summary of it. And it may be on next week's meeting, it may not be. It will be up to the board to help with making that decision. But 5 came in, we sent it out to about 7 firms, or 10 firms, something to that effect. Actually, no, we sent it out to 20-some-odd firms, if I'm not mistaken. But, we got 5 back.
5 good proposals back.
What's that?
5 good proposals back.
Oh, yeah, they were all,
Yeah.
well, all the firms we sent it to were qualified firms, but the 5 that came back did show the qualifications that were necessary to meet the criteria of the RFP that we put in.
Yeah,
put out.
I was happy with the results from all 5, which is a good thing. So, to reiterate what Rich said, him and I are gonna sit down tomorrow. He's gonna put his recommendation to the board, and the board and I will all talk and see what's best for the residents of Carmel Water District 2.
Perfect.
Thank
for
you,
that.
Rich, for all your work. I know it's been
Yeah,
a lot,
thank you,
but
Rich.
we appreciate Rich. Thank you.
I need an engineer. If anybody knows of engineers that want to work in the town of Carmel, they
All right, 5
please
minutes is
come.
up.
No,
I
this
need
is
an
important,
engineer.
Rich. No, let him, he's right. He needs it.
Oh, he needs it? All right, go ahead.
does.
Go
He
on.
needs it.
Shameless marketing, right? No, if there's any engineers, if you know anybody looking for work,
Oh,
I do.
that.
There is an engineer here in position open in the town of Carmel. It would be great to have. It would be great if they were a PE or an FE, which is a fundamental engineer, like a training engineer. They'd have to have that kind of degrees with them. Handful of years' experience would be great. Anything we can do to get the word out there, please, appreciate it. You know, we're hiring people in recreation all the time. We're hiring people in the assessor's office, but nobody's coming to the damn engineering.
All right, Rich, your time is up, Rich. That's it.
See? I was
Your time is up.
They don't come to the engineering
We give you an inch, you take a mile. Your time is up. That's it, Rich.
That's not for lack of...
Rich is never allowed to
Hold
speak
on,
again.
hold on.
I said it. Nobody,
With all due respect, it's not for lack of trying. We actually have budgeted a person for a junior engineer.
Vinny, turn off his mic.
and
We just haven't gotten it.
maybe, yeah,
Councilman
people
Lombardi
aren't
is
coming to us,
100%
Rich.
correct.
It's
We
the-
have budgeted for it, and there is budget, quite a substantial budget, if anybody's truly interested in
We
engineering.
just haven't gotten qualified applicant.
Right, we need to get qualified folks.
Correct.
All right, so notifications on April 19th, Saturday, April 19th, at the Geary Inline Skating Rink. That's across from Mahopac Firehouse. 9 to 12, we're having a shredded event for town residents only. So shred it on the 19th of April. The town cleanup, we're doing a town cleanup April 21st through April 25th. Anyone that's interested in helping clean up, any groups, any kids looking for community service, we have orange bags and pickers and reflective vests to keep them safe. And that's the 21st to the 25th. Contact the Highway Department at 628-7474, or you could call Town Hall, 628-1500, extension 139, and we will hook you up with pickers and bags. And this is a really important one that people are always asking about, is Putnam County Health Department is having a hazardous chemical drop-off, where you could drop off paint and things with mercury, pool chemicals, rug cleaners, drain cleaners, things that are harmful chemicals that are hard to get rid of. Putnam County is doing it at Fawnstock State Park, and that's 1570 Route 301 in the town of Kent. And you can pre-register with the Putnam County Health Department. So go to Putnam County Health Department, go to Putnam County's website, the Health Department. That's on the 26th of April from 8:30 to 12:30, and it's all Putnam County residents. So go to Putnam County's website, go to Health Department, find the flyer, pre-register so you can get rid of your chemicals. That's all I have. Anybody?
Yeah, this Saturday at the Mahopac High School at 3 p.m., the Lake Mahopac Rotary Club is hosting their first wrestling event. Bring the kids, it should be a lot of fun. And then we also have the first annual 5K run for Gary Petropalo, the Memorial 5K run. That will be on Saturday, April 26th. I am definitely registering for this. I'm sure Councilman Kearns, hopefully you guys will join us to run 3.5 miles. That'd be
I jumped in.
I am making my confirmation
I'm
that
running.
day, but I am
Okay,
going
so we hear
to-
the excuses already. And then also, April 27th, we have our first trail walk at Voles Park. The Dads group that I am part of and Parks and Rec are partnering up, and we're going to clean the trail, have some refreshments and snacks for the kids after. And that's it. That's all I got.
Susie's got something, then I'll follow her.
Just
Or
quickly,
Frank.
the Highway Department started their paving projects for this coming year. They started yesterday on Union Valley Road it's going to start from Union Valley Road, Route 6 to the intersection with Lavelle Street. So that'll be going on the next few days, and that's the start of the project, and there's more paving going along.
He said Lavelle.
I know we did.
Love it. What is it?
Lovell.
Level.
Trustee Persuade.
Tomato, tomato.
Where is Lavelle?
Pursuant to the...
Frank is French. Love it, Frank.
I'm just trying to understand, you're correcting my pronunciation?
Yes, because everybody corrects me.
I just want to understand that.
So tomorrow night,
noted.
up at the Airport Park Building, which is off of Hill Street, the Recreation Advisory Committee is going to have their open meeting. And there is not a set agenda, so please, if you are interested in finding out what's going on in the Recreation Department, and we want to hear from you. What do you want to see here? How can we strengthen it? How can we improve recreation? This is the time to come. So tomorrow night, 7:30, at the Airport Park Building, right off of Hill Street. It's the big fields up there. The advisory committee is going to be there. We'd like to hear from you. And it's for all residents and representatives of interested organizations. And then also, we are having our Easter egg hunt, which is always such a huge event, and my favorite, because all the little kids are just running around. It's so cute. That is going to be April 12th at the Airport Park again. It's for kids ages 2nd grade through second grade, and it's free to residents. There is no registration. So at 12 p.m., actually at 11 o'clock a.m., there's going to be lunch. 12 p.m., the egg hunt begins on the dot. Literally, if you come at 12:05, the 3,000 eggs will be gone. So make sure you get there early. 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., claim prizes, DJs, photos with the bunny, and more. And lunch is going to be provided once again by the Lake Mahopac Rotary Club, which we always appreciate it. If you want to volunteer for this event, please contact Nina or the Recreation Department to sign up. And she did say community service hours are provided. You do need to bring your own little basket or whatever they want the kids. The only thing I ask is, it's a kids' event, so moms and dads, let the kids enjoy it. Don't go start pitting up all the eggs. But it's usually, such a fun time.
I heard Supervisor Cazzari is going to be in the bunny costume.
Last year it went well, right?
No, the bunny is going to be in the bunny costume, Councilman. The Easter bunny is going to be in the East, yeah.
I make a motion for Supervisor Cazzari to go in the Easter bunny costume.
Maybe the new police officer, I think.
Yeah, right. They'll run away. They'll be scared. I had two things. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Myself, my wife, and my daughter joined Chief Hoffman and some members of the Carmel Police Department. We joined the Child Advocacy Center for Putnam County. We planted some pinwheels in front of Lake Glenida. They're a great organization. They're always looking for volunteers. So if you guys are looking for a great organization to support, they are in desperate need of some support. And then next week, I've been in contacts with our great county executive, Kevin Byrne. He will be here to provide a watered-down version of the state of the county pertaining to the town of Carmel. He's also going to give an update on the Fair Street project. I know that is affecting a lot of residents in the hamlet of Carmel. So he will be here. He's going to give a quick presentation. He will be able to field some questions. So if you're looking to come by next week, it'd be a great opportunity for you to ask questions to our county executive. And that's about it.
Perfect. So we'll be back on the 9th of April. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
One more time. It's also Autism Awareness Month. I want to acknowledge that as well. So, that's near and dear to a lot of people. So,
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, Alice.